Hey guys, welcome back to Storytime. So this is the first video of our summer reading program. This year we are doing Tales and Tales, so we're going to have all kinds of fun animal stories, and I think everybody's really going to enjoy it. We're going to do a few things online, and then we're going to do a few things in person too. We're going to be doing stuff outside, so just keep up with our Facebook page or talk to your local library and get the schedule. And I can't wait to see everyone. So excited for that. But this week, our story is Gilbert Goldfish Wants a Pet. So Gilbert Goldfish really wants a pet. Does it seem a little funny because does anybody at home have a pet goldfish? So he's already a pet. He wants a pet of his own. So let's see how his story goes. And stick around because afterwards we're going to have a special guest with us who is going to talk about going to the vet with your pet and what to expect. We have some questions from some of our kiddos at home and we'll get those answered. And I hope everybody enjoys that as well. So let's get started. To any outsider, Gilbert had everything a goldfish could ever want. A magnificent stone castle, a treasure chest full of gold, and a feast of tasty flakes that fell from the sky just in time for breakfast each day. Looks like he's got it made. But the one thing Gilbert did not have was the very thing he most desperately wanted: a pet. Sometimes he imagined his pet would be small, sometimes big, sometimes really big. What is that small little pet he's imagining? Can you all see it? It's a teeny tiny ladybug. Very cute. What is that big pet? It's much bigger than he is. Is that a horse? Horses are pretty big. Whoa! What is that really big pet? Who at home can make a good elephant sound? Okay. Sometimes Gilbert imagined his pet would have fur, or feathers, or floppy ears. But every day and always, Gilbert imagined what it would be like to have a pet to care for and love. Then one day, Gilbert woke up to find a dog barking at him. Bark, bark, bark! Gilbert blinked his eyes to make sure he wasn't dreaming. The dog wagged his tail and licked the bowl. Oh, look how happy Gilbert is. The dog looks pretty happy too. Gilbert swam around and around in happy circles. The dog ran around and around in happy circles too. A pet, Gilbert gulped. I have a pet. The dog barked and barked and barked some more. Bark, bark, bark. Gilbert never dreamed his pet would be so noisy or so thirsty. A week passed. A very tired Gilbert woke up, and the barky dog was gone. The castle was quiet again. Gilbert was just a teensy bit relieved. A few days later, Gilbert noticed a small gray mouse peering at him through the glass. Gilbert's little fishy heart went pitter-patter swish. The mouse licked her paws and sniffed the bowl. Gilbert swam around and around in happy circles. The mouse, who thought Gilbert was a large chunk of cheddar cheese, ran around and around in circles too. Squeak, 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 squeak. A pet, Gilbert glowed happily. I have a quiet pet. The mouse sniffed and sniffed and sniffed some more. When the hungry mouse determined that Gilbert was not in fact a block of cheese, she ran away and she never came back. Gilbert's little fishy heart went pitter, patter, plop. More time passed, and Gilbert had just about given up on his dream when a fly landed on the rim of his bowl. "Well, hello there, little fellow," Gilbert called out cheerfully. The startled fly buzzed around in circles. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Gilbert jumped up, and the wide-eyed fly was there to greet him in midair. "So this might work out, right?" "A pet! I have a quiet, friendly..." Whack! Oh my, poor fly, and poor Gilbert. He cried enough tears to fill a 10-gallon aquarium. Poor Gilbert. In the morning, Gilbert opened his eyes. Somebody was watching him. Gilbert gulped. Somebody flicked its long tail and wiry whiskers. Uh-oh. What does that look like to you? Long tail and wiry whiskers. Gilbert cautiously swam around and around in circles. Somebody followed. Gilbert jumped. Somebody jumped too. Gilbert thought, eyeing the curious new creature before him. Not too loud, not too rude, and not too squished. "A pet," Gilbert glubbed. "I have the perfect pet." Uh-oh. What kind of animal does that look like again? "You look kind of hungry," Gilbert said. "Would you like to join me for breakfast?" The creature moved in closer and closer and closer, and then it took a big bite of a delicious green flake. "The pink ones are really good too," Gilbert said with a smile. "Would you like me to show you around the castle?" Now Gilbert really does have everything a goldfish could ever want, including a pet. Fluffy. Whew, thank goodness. I was getting pretty worried for him. Weren't you all? What did it make us think that that pet was going to be? A cat, right. And cats tend to eat fish, so it had me really worried. We have a pet here at the library. This is Paige. Maybe you've met her before. She's a little bit of a wild pet. But some of you have met her when you've come into the library. And she also has to go to the vet and sometimes needs medicine to keep her good and healthy. Oh, hi there. Stay tuned. Hi guys, we're back with our special guest, Vet Tech Jen, and her beautiful doggie, Isla. They're going to help us in a second learn more about pets and vets. I bet all of you at home have had to go to the doctor before. So to stay healthy, all of us have to go get checkups at the doctor, or go get a shot, or we may have to go because we're sick. And the doctor will give you an exam and figure out what's wrong with you. So just like that, with your animals, you should take them to their doctor, the veterinarian. And that doctor is going to take care of them and keep them healthy. So just like we need to go and stay healthy, they also need to go to stay healthy. So our guest is going to go over with us what it's like for them to have an exam at the vet. And then we will answer a few questions and get a few more facts about what it's like at the vet's office.
All right, I'm Vet Tech Jen. I graduated from Lincoln Memorial University, and I've been in veterinary medicine for 18 years. And I'm so excited to be here with you guys today. So I'm going to show you when you take your pet to the vet, kind of what we look for and what we do for an exam. So first off, let's get Isla to stand up here. She's a little nervous. We like to look in their ears. Make sure there's no infection or nothing going on there. We like to look at their eyes to make sure everything's nice and clear. We also, and some dogs don't like it, but we like to look at their teeth. And Isla needs hers clean. We need to get them clean. We also like to listen to their hearts with our stethoscope. So I'm going to have Isla turn around here. Listen to both sides of the heart. Make sure there's nothing going on. We listen to the lung. Make sure they're clear. Then, a lot of times, we'll just check them over to make sure we don't feel any lumps or bumps or anything going on there. And so Isla's pretty healthy. She just needs her teeth cleaned. That's a good idea to do every so often with these older dogs so they don't get all gooey. They don't brush their teeth every day like we do, so they can get nasty. But that's about all it is when you take your pet to the vet. And we do shots and things like that to make sure they're healthy and they stay healthy. And it's always a good idea to, take them maybe once or twice a year at least. Make sure everything's okay.
So we have a few questions for Vet Tech Jen that she's going to answer for us, and those questions are from some of our Storytime kids. But before we do that, do you have any fun facts for animals for us?
Sure. So dogs don't sweat like we do. We have sweat glands all over our body. Dogs are not like that. So to cool off, they have to pant. I mean, we all seen dogs go, and that releases some of the heat. But dogs sweat in their paws.
No way.
Yes. So a lot of times, if your dog's outside playing and it's really hot outside and they walk on concrete, sometimes you can see their little wet footprints on the concrete because that's actually where they sweat from.
That's so neat. Is there anything else we should know?
Yeah, cats. Let's touch on a fact about cats. So, if cats only eat dog food, and I'm not talking about once or twice, I'm talking about that's all they eat. It lacks an amino acid, and if they don't get that, they can go blind, and it can actually affect their heart and other things.
Oh goodness, so it's very important to stay on top of that.
Yes, so don't feed your cat dog food.
What about dogs?
Dogs should only eat dog food because they're not just meat eaters. They actually need the vegetables and stuff in their diet. So if they're eating totally cat food, it's hard on their kidneys.
So we have a few questions from some of our Storytime kids. So let's get started on those. Kelsey Ray wants to know, how do you help a dog that has had its 2 front paws run over? Goodness, that would be so awful. How would you help?
That would be bad. But the best thing to do is take it to the vet. Don't wait. A lot of times if you wait, it can be worse on the dog. I mean, once its bones and stuff starts healing, there's not much that we can do for your dog if you waited a few weeks. I mean, it makes it complicated for us.
What would the vet do when they do bring the dog in?
So what we would like to do is look at your pet to see how severe the problem is. It may need to go on IV before we can even do the x-rays to make sure it wouldn't go into shock or, any problem like that. So after we do the x-rays, it would give us an idea of what direction we needed to take, whether your dog needed to just have a splint or if it needed to have surgery and have pins and stuff into its paws to help stabilize the bones. So it kind of all depends on the situation and how severe everything's going. So the best thing is just bring it to the vet as soon as you can. I can't stress that enough. Don't wait. Don't wait.
So after they bring it in, the doctor will know what the best thing is after they get a good look at the dog.
That's a hard question because there's so much that can be done. I can't really directly answer it. Just a matter of fact. It kind of depends on what the x-rays look like, on what you would be dealing with.
Yeah, so you would know exactly what to do after you saw the dog.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and our next question is from Emma June. How do you x-ray a pet? And how many pets usually visit the vet in one day?
So, to x-ray the pet, depends on what area you're x-raying. So with Isla, let's use for instance. If I were to be x-raying her chest, we would have to measure. There's a instrument that you use to measure. You would have to measure this way and this way. Then to do the x-ray, you would have to get her on her back, and take a picture through her chest. And then you can look at it on the viewer. But if we wanted to do an x-ray on her leg, then we would measure her leg, because we would have to know how thick her leg was, or her chest was, or her belly was. We would have to know that before we could set the machine to be able to take an x-ray of your pet. And I guess vet clinics see anywhere 15, 20 patients a day, if not more, sometimes less. Kind of depends on what's going on. The cool thing about being in veterinary medicine is you never know what's going to walk through the door.
Okay. So does the x-ray print out something that you can see, or do you see it on a screen?
Well, we've all went to digital now, so it comes up on a screen. And we used to have to take out this cassette and dip it in the dip tank in the dark and everything, which times have gotten better now, so we just look at the computer. It goes straight from the machine to the computer. That's all we have to do.
So the technology has made it much easier and faster for you guys.
Oh, yes.
Which is good. That way you guys can do what you have to the dog or the whatever animal.
It makes things so much speedier. So much.
That's really neat. Good question. Our next question is from Justice. And Justice wants to know, what does it mean when a cat wags its tail and when a dog wags its tail? Do they mean the same thing?
No, complete opposite. So when a dog is wagging its tail, it's happy to see you. When a cat is wagging its tail, you better back off. The cat is not happy to see you. It might scratch you. It's very upset. Totally different. So back away from a cat if it's wagging its tail, because it's not happy.
Well, Paige here wags her tail a lot. Is she always mad?
She might be a little irritated. I would back away. She might scratch you.
You know what that means? You guys need to come visit her more so she'll cheer up.
Yes. She probably misses you guys.
Next question is from Jace. And Jace wants to know, what are some of the coolest animals you've gotten to work with?
So I've got to work with a bunch of different animals. I mean, normally cats and dogs. I've dealt with guinea pigs, rabbits, lizards. I've had lizards.
Have you ever had a snake?
Yes, I've had
Cool.
one snake. I don't deal with them often. I don't mind snakes though. They don't scare me. But probably the coolest animal I've worked with, when I was at the University of Tennessee, I got to work on a tiger. We had to take x-rays of the tiger. She was so pretty. That right there was probably the coolest animal, I would imagine.
That's a big animal too. Were you scared?
Well, she was under anesthesia because most big cats aren't going to lay there and let you take x-rays of them. So she was not awake. She was taking a long nap.
That's really neat. Our last question comes from Megan, and Megan wants to know, what do you have to study or do to become a vet tech?
So Megan, you got to go to college. I went to LMU. You can get a degree in veterinary science. There's either a 2-year program or a 4-year program. Kind of depends on what you want to do. I went to LMU, but there's other colleges that offer the same thing. It kind of depends on how far you want to go. Lincoln Memorial University was closer, so I chose that one. And it was a great experience. It's a great place to go to school. So you know.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Okay.
How did you know you wanted to become a vet tech?
So this started when I was 5 years old. I had a cat that brought me a bird. It was still alive. And I remember holding that bird in my hands thinking, I wish there was something I could do to help this bird that my cat just injured. So from that point on, I just kind of knew I wanted to be working with animals and being in veterinary medicine. So it started at a young age.
That's really wild because a lot of times people will want to be one thing when they're little and then they may change their mind a million times, but you've always stuck with animals.
Yes, I have. I was one of the lucky ones that didn't have to bounce around, that I knew for a fact what I wanted to do.
Anything you want to do when you're little, you could grow up to be that. But I'm sure it took a lot of work through school.
Yes.
I'm sure you had to make good grades to work your way up.
Yes.
And it took a lot of time to get through all that schooling.
Yes, it's not an easy job. It's not just playing with puppies and kittens all day, but it's well worth it. One of my favorite things about the job is when you have an animal that's, let's say it stayed in the hospital for a while, it's been really sick, but then it gets better and then it gets to go home. Whenever it sees its owner and wagging its tail because it's happy to get to go home, that right there warms my heart. It makes my heart happy. It really does. It's well worth it.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you for coming to talk to us today, and I hope everybody at home has enjoyed this.
Had a good time.
Say goodbye to Vet Tech Jen.
Bye.
And to Isla. She looks like she's asleep, so I think that means it's time to go. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope everybody's enjoyed this. Keep up with our schedule through the library. You can follow us on Facebook, and we're going to be doing an in-person story time next time, and I'm so excited to see you guys again. I can't wait. So you all stay safe, and I'll see you soon.